10 Minutes to Joy is your weekly invitation to reset, recharge, and rediscover your most joyful self through aha moments and simple energy techniques. You're listening to holistic psychotherapist Sylvia Plester-Silk. I've worked with individuals, couples, and groups. From parole officer to private practice, I've learned many a lesson, and I'm ready to share. As you all know, I recently, a month ago, adopted a puppy from Sato Dog Rescue in Brantford, Ontario. It's been a ride. Today, we went to Home Depot for a training session, and I was reminded of a really important thing for humans. And it was really demonstrated in a different way. I was taking Luke, my mixed breed, super dog, no, what super breed or something like that it's called, um, to just teach him to be really calm in a busy environment that's noisy. And while we were there, he attracted some attention, shall we say. And this lovely young employee was super excited to see him and wanted to pet him. We're really working on him not jumping up. I tell people he must have 4 on the floor for you to pet him. This young lady's energy sent my puppy crazy. He jumped up on her repetitively, even with distractions and corrections and me working with him. And then I had to work with her because once I got him calm, she would get excited. She was still in her state of excitement and would set him off. So I said to her, "Can I just give you a little bit of advice?" And she said, "Sure." And I said, "Your excitement and is really triggering to a dog." I said, "If you could calm yourself and ground yourself, you would be able to pet him without him jumping up." And she looked at me and I said, "And you know what else? If you've got a reactive dog, which he isn't, they can get overstimulated by that energy. So you go in to pet them and they respond aggressively, potentially." And she just looked, her eyes got really big and she looked at me and I said, "Look, let's try it." So I invited her to calm herself and ground herself, and she did. And she went and petted dear Luke, and he had 4 on the floor. It was just one of those moments that crystallized how much our energy and how we are carrying our energy impacts everybody and everything around us. I have known this for years, but sometimes there's this little moment that just shows you, aha, that's it in action. So, what it makes me think about is when we get overexcited about something, maybe that we're trying to manifest, it can give kind of a mixed message to the universe, and we may not get what we're actually desiring. If we're going into something with excitement, people may misread our excitement. That's interesting, isn't it? So, excitement with just ungrounded energy is excitement, and it invokes like a response, and people are trying to figure out and guess what's happening. Excitement, which this young woman still had about my beautiful little puppy, but grounded, allows people to read the energy more effectively of where you're truly coming from. Because there was never 1 second that I knew that she wasn't excited about my puppy and really just wanted to do the puppy mall. So how does it, like in life, I think we often forget to check our energy. I'll tell you, if with Luke in the last month, if I'm not grounded, his behavior is out of control. The second I calm myself and ground myself, he gets calmer and more grounded. Sometimes mirrors are not so much fun to be around, but he is a joy. He really is a joy. I think it's just a message to us to just really, sometimes we're not calm. Sometimes we're pissed off and angry, and there's a really good reason that we are. So, but can we be grounded and angry at the same time? Because when we're grounded and angry, we don't have to go into blame. We can just be really clear. There's a boundary I need to set here. Feel the anger and then set the boundary. It gives this crystal clear energy. And it's similar to when I'm working with someone. So I'm working with the mom of two um, late teen, early 20s adult daughters, for I'll say. And there's been some conflict in the relationship. So I'm working with mom and mom's energy, and all of a sudden, click, oldest daughter's energy shifts and starts connecting with mom in a really loving way, which hasn't happened in years. There's been blame and judgment and all sorts of things flowing back and forth. We clear up one half of the blame and judgment, and suddenly there's not enough energy to hold that pattern in place with that other person. Now, this isn't a guarantee, and it doesn't always happen with my work. Again, another crystalline example of how this can happen. When we really focus on ourselves, where am I at? What do I need? How do I ground myself? How do I get clear in what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it? And if you don't know how to identify your feelings, go back to a very early episode. I think it's one or two called Feel Your Feels. And it will tell you, or get my book. You can, which I can't remember the name of right now. Isn't that fabulous? The 10 Things You Need to Know to Heal by Sylvia Plester-Silk. There's a chapter in it dedicated simply to helping you step by step recognize what the emotion is and learn how to name it. Really helpful in terms of grounding ourselves, figuring out what we need, and matching that need so that we're not expecting other people to meet our needs. We're coming from this healthy, grounded, fulfilled state, really, that, and maybe making requests, sometimes making demands, and sometimes being a really crystal clear, this is the boundary. And sometimes when we get just really crystal clear, the energetic boundary gets established and we don't even need to say anything because things change. So, like the beautiful young woman at Home Depot today, take a few moments, ground yourself. What am I feeling? What's my energy looking like to other people? And it's not how they're judging your, it's from that internal, how might I be like how might I look to people right now? Do I look grounded? Am I calm and grounded inside myself? And bringing yourself back into your center. So then you can, in a really balanced way, share whatever the emotion is, whether it's sadness and grief or anger or hurt. If we're grounded and we share that, it is just so much more powerful. Now, we all need places where we can let it down and not be grounded and shared. And that's certainly what I offer to many of my clients in my office, although we immediately get grounded when you come in. And then we talk about it because grounding helps us feel safe, right? My puppy, when he doesn't feel safe, his little tiny ruff goes up and he kind of growls and he barks and he jumps up and he just gets really stressed out and does puppy zoomies and all sorts of awful, crazy stuff. And so as soon as we get him grounded and make sure that he sleeps when he needs to sleep, looking after his needs, like I'm suggesting to you, he's this grounded, sweet little puppy. So maybe channel your inner puppy, folks. Get yourself grounded. What is it I need right now? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Do I need sleep or exercise? It's not always that simple in the human realm, but for him right now it is. So how can you use this oversimplified example to help you come into your inner self and your inner calm so that you can shift your results in your life and get the energy out there that you're really wanting and attract the joy, attract the happiness, attract that balanced energy from other people? and just without and effortlessly start to detract the ungrounded energy of others that others might have towards you. So that's all for today, folks. Remember, your past doesn't need to define your future. You get to choose. Keep moving forward, keep grounding yourself, and we'll see you next week on 10 Minutes to Joy.